classes.
Hi.
Hi.
I actually, before I knew anything about the movie, I wanted to give a shout out to my friend Brian Shornack, who worked on the movie.
Oh, you're Nicole.
Yes.
He warned us about you.
But I really enjoyed it. Loved the ending. And so, in the spirit of Thank You More Please, I was wondering, are you planning on just riding the wave for this movie for a while, or do you have more writing and directing on your plate? What's kind of your plan for the future?
Well, I'm always writing. I'm working on something else in the cinema department. And I also wrote a book that is kind of memoir adjacent. It's not a proper memoir, but it's like a linked series of essays, kind of, which was sold and will be out, I think, next fall. I keep pushing it. I'm a little overwhelmed at the moment, so it should be out in the fall. But I'm working on that now, and yeah,
Are you an architect too?
I'm on TV. Did you know that? Oh, you did. Okay.
But I mean, I thought maybe you were one really as well.
No, I don't know anything about architecture. I faked that on the show. So yeah, I kind of at this point I'm feeling as much, if you have to label yourself something, I'm feeling as much writer as actor. So I'm always kind of working on something. Even like if I have a big crazy ideas folder of, you know, half-formed ideas and snatches of dialogue and things. So I'm just trying to keep the ground fertile. I don't know exactly what the next step is going to be movie-wise, but I really want, this is going to sound so dorky, I really want this movie to do well. Like, I just feel like there's not enough good movies. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's just not enough good movies. And I feel like, I hope people turn out for this and tell their friends, because they just keep shoveling bad movies at us, and it's like at a certain point where everyone's going to stop going. And I love good movies, and I don't watch a lot because I think they're not good. And I was trying to really make my favorite movie. I was like, well, what kind of movies do I like? I like movies that are about real people, relatable people going through real problems, well-intentioned, you know, people who screw up. And I like great soundtracks. And I like movies that make you feel good. So that's the movie I was trying to make. And so yeah, so again, help us.
I think you did a great job.
Thank you.
And I think we can look forward to more good things from you, so thanks.
This gentleman over here.
Hey Josh, love the movie. So my question is, so you had 3 different stories in this movie, and in my opinion they had this common theme of trying to find love. But my question is, why did you keep all the characters mutually exclusive? In terms of like, why was there single meetings between Annie and Sam, Charlie and Sam, instead of having this one point where all the characters' stories came together?
That might be partly like my being green as a writer in some ways, because I was writing 2-person scenes, which somehow felt easier for me. I just wrote, in this new thing I'm kind of kicking around, I wrote like a brunch scene with 5 characters. I was like, wow, I didn't do that in this movie. Like, they're like these chamber scenes or something between 2 characters. I think it speaks to the intimacy of it. I mean, the people are going through really intense stuff, so a lot of it's not in public. There's a scene cut from the movie, Charlie and Mary Catherine have a very public, kind of ugly fight, and it was cut from the movie. But largely, and you know, that was a note that was, I kept getting like, sometimes it felt like Charlie and Mary Catherine were in a separate movie, even though they're linked thematically. But Mary Catherine and Sam are, you know, best kind of childhood friends. Their families are best friends, and then Sam and Charlie get this nice scene in a bar towards the end. So I was always trying to find ways to show you that they're in the same orbit. You know, they're kind of in the, you know, Mary Catherine's at Annie's party. Like, they're in the same kind of social world, which is something that New York, you know, that's what it feels like to me. You have, you know, people orbit around a certain kind of scene or group of people. But it wasn't completely intentional. But like I said, I mean, it might have just been, it's an intimate piece, and I didn't know how to write for more than 2 people at once.
Why the Woody Allen comment?
Is that Woody Allen? Well, okay, here's what happened. I wrote that line, and then I cut that line because I love Woody Allen, and I didn't want to seem like I was slamming Woody Allen, which I don't think I am. But while we were in pre-production, I went and saw that Larry David movie he did. Did anyone see that? I didn't like it very much. And for whatever reason, I just was like, that line's going back in. And then, I mean, the kind way I look at it is like the kind of student winking at the master. Like, I'm clearly influenced by Woody Allen. There's no way you can watch this movie and not think that. The film was just at San Sebastian Film Festival in Spain. Like, every single journalist asked that because Woody Allen's so revered. And they kept asking, these similarities between Woody Allen. I was like, I think the biggest difference between me and Woody Allen is he's made 40 movies, and he's a genius, and I've made one. So I want to be clear about that. And I think some people are like, who do you think you are? Not Woody, the Woodman. But the real reason that line is in is because we shot that scene. We were so pressed for time, and we did one shot where they're coming in the room. They're coming in the door, and then we pan across, and then they have that thing where Charlie's kissing her, and she's saying all that, and then he proposes to her, and she says, what, 3 times? And far and away, Zoe's best take, or the whole take, was the one where she said the Woody Allen line, and her timing is like, she says, what, 3 times, and the third one always gets this great laugh. And I was like, oh my God, I don't know if I want that Woody Allen line to be in there, but I don't know how to break up the scene, because we just had this one usable take. So it's kind of because I hated the Larry David movie, it's kind of because I love Woody Allen and don't like him sometimes, and kind of because it was the best take we had. Did it anger you? Don't answer that, I don't want to get offended.
Right here, in the middle.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
My name is Sarah, and I'm a huge fan. This is really exciting. Okay, so 2 questions for you, and I'm sure you can answer both of them, because they're appropriate. The first question, what was compared to the 3-day contract? 2 questions. Okay, so the first one is, How I Met Your Mother is relationships in New York. This one is also relationships in New York. I mean, can you comment on that? Is that like all that New York is about, relationships?
I thought you said they were appropriate. Wait, do you have 2 questions?
I do. Should I ask the second one?
Yeah, ask it and we'll try to remember.
Okay. My second question is, and I hope that this doesn't put you on the spot.
Oh.
Is there any way I could get like a picture with you?
We'll try to work it out. If I high-five that guy, I guess I can open myself up.
I said every season of How I Met Your Mother.
Okay. I don't know what she just said. I mean, I don't know that New York is about relationships, but I think life is about relationships. And you can look at it like, I'm in a relationship with you guys right now. I'm in relationships with my family. I have a relationship with Glenn. I have a relationship with New York City. I have a relationship with Los Angeles. I mean, everything's relationship. It's how we're relating, to people. I had a difficulty when there's a thing in film where they always want you to write like a log line, like, what's your film in 1 sentence? And I think it's actually, I don't like that about the film industry because I think it leads to like reductive kind of ideas, gimmicky storyline, like it was 72 hours to save his family or whatever. And I think the great movies are actually a little harder to describe in some ways. Do you agree with that? Yeah.
The best ones are impossible to distill.
Yeah. So I felt very bullied by this idea that I had to describe it. And if you say like, people searching for love and connection in New York City, it sounds like How I Met Your Mother, which I don't think you watch this movie, and except for my face, it doesn't feel to me like How I Met Your Mother. I mean, it's a whole different pace and rhythm and things going on. You'd never be able to do this on How I Met Your Mother, and you'd never be able to. How I Met Your Mother wouldn't work in this world. They feel to me very different. They're demographically similar. I don't know. I didn't know how to get around that. I mean, I'm that age, and I wasn't ready to write about refugees from war-torn countries, or which I hope. I mean, I don't know what I'll.